What's going on, guys? I'm Watch Ergo, and today, here in my garage, alright, we're not going to go there with the Ty Lopez jokes, but what's it like owning 11 motorcycles? I'm going to tell you. And just like that, we're not in my garage, we're in my currently messy backyard because I just replaced my air conditioner. That's neither here nor there. I'm gonna get all that fixed very soon. So we're starting with the newest acquisition, I think, my Honda Helix 250cc scooter, 1987, 73-ish thousand miles on this bike. I actually love riding this. It's a really crazy experience to ride. The foot brake's different. It just totally feels weird with you like laying down and your foot being way out in front of you and having to hold the foot brake to start the bike. It's really crazy. It's got the it's a giant scooter transmission. As far as what it needs operably, I have to replace the wheel bearings and probably the wheel shaft at this point. And there's like 3 bearings in that setup, and those are coming up very soon. That's one of the winter projects, along with throwing away the entire body and doing something crazy with it. So that's coming up. Stay tuned for that. Honestly, what it's like owning 11 motorcycles is kind of a nightmare. Every bike needs something. Every bike needs insurance. They all have to be tagged and renewed, and it's quite the process. And you have to keep track of everything that's going on and what needs maintenance. So let's walk around. I'll show you what needs maintenance, and I'll show you what needs maintenance and what needs to happen. Let's go. All right, next we're gonna go to my favorite bike of all time. Oh, I love this thing, the Ducati Hypermotard 1100S. The S adds these awesome carbon bits. You see it on the channel all the time because I ride this all the time. I love riding it. But yeah, so it's got carbon fenders, carbon exhaust guards. It's a GPR exhaust. Somebody found it for me. I love you, internet. You guys are awesome. We could not figure out who made the exhaust, and someone found it. It's a company in Britain, and I guess maybe it was shipped over. It's not a normal exhaust on a Ducati. As far as what the Hyper needs, it's a chain and sprocket set all the way through, and I have new fork seals for it because it was leaking before I fixed it with the Seal Mate. And it hasn't leaked a drop since, but I'd still like to change the fork oil in the front to 7.5 weight, and new chain, new sprockets, new cush drives. I just want to change all of the drive system, clean it up, and get ready to ride it again for next season. And it needs a battery. It still starts and everything, but it's getting a little weak, and I think the battery's the wrong size and caused us some drama on a rally, so it's time for a new battery. Also, I want to add the Hypermotard 939 SP because that is, Ducati, this is the best thing you build. If you're watching, I want you to know that this is amazing. And we'll go straight to the next thing, which is 1198, maybe one of the worst bikes Ducati has ever built. I literally can't stand riding it unless I just want to go really fast for a very short period. You're gonna see some cool videos coming up soon. We took them on a rally, thousands of miles in a weekend, both of these Ducatis. I mean, it was painful, but it was kind of fun. I wish I would have been on this. Every minute I was on that trip, I was watching Zach ride the Hypermotard, and I was like, I really wish I was riding the Hypermotard, but yeah, it looks cool. It's probably the best looking bike in the collection. It's one of the greatest looking bikes of all time, actually. I think it's a permanent fixture in the collection. It's not going anywhere. The cover is just laying on here because the bike actually needs wash, so I'll clean it up and then put the cover on it. Plus it sits in the garage, so it's not that bad. And what's wrong with the bike is I hit it with the handlebars of another bike. The Fury was sitting beside it when the garage was more cluttered than this. And yeah, I mean, it's my fault, I cracked it. The rest of this bike is flawless. Woodcraft Technologies rear sets, Termignani exhaust, TST Industries lights, Brembo factory brakes. It's amazing. Looks great, does what it's supposed to do, just not fun to ride. And the next Ducati is my Monster 696 project that I bought as is. Nothing's attached to it. The only thing that's attached to it is the swing arm and the engine. Everything else is literally in boxes. This stuff's not attached. It's just sitting on there because it looks cool. This is another winter project that I expect to take a few days at least to reassemble everything. It actually ran perfectly and just needed a stator when it came apart. So I'm planning on ordering a stator and slapping it all back together and riding it. We'll see what happens. It seems to be leaking a little bit of oil since it's been sitting for so long. I'm not sure what that oil leak is. It might be time for some gaskets. And that brings us to my KTM Duke 390. There's not much to say about this. It's low miles, 4,000 miles. Rides pretty well, doesn't have a lot of power, and has been for sale for a long time and hasn't sold for some reason. I don't know why. It's like the perfect beginner bike, and still in the garage. I'm ready for it to get out of here. And next up we have my 205cc swapped GY6 Ruckus, light bar, Transformers, custom cut all the covers. They're all Transformers logos, CNC'd into, you know, different protective guards. Yoshimura exhaust, single-sided swing arm, single-sided air shock absorber, Lamborghini blue paint. I have an entire system that needs to be installed on this, and the engine dumps oil like you wouldn't believe because it needs a full set of gaskets. The gaskets are sitting inside, just needs done. I'd say that pretty much wraps up the Ruck. It's the fastest one in the city, 80 mile an hour, no problem. It is literally crazy to ride. And here is my Honda Grom, or the MSX 125 in every other country. If you live somewhere else, you probably know it as the 125. 125cc. It's a Honda, starts every time, never needs any maintenance. I pretty much just change the oil in it every once in a while. I see there's the video where I put 300V on every bike in the garage basically. So it has really expensive oil in it. It has a system, which is pretty fun. You get to listen to some music when those bad boys power up. Turn it back off real quick. It's a Grom. It's got Ron Swanson on it, so I call it Ron Gromson. I don't name motorcycles, but that one was kind of funny. And the last one that's actually in the garage right now is my Honda Fury, 1300 cc's of furiousness, the jokes. This fork leaked out all of its fork oil because I took it on another huge trip recently. So it's pretty low. It didn't actually leak all of it out, but it's pretty low. So that's the only thing that needs fixed on that. It has USB charging on it, and that's it. Like, nothing else has been done. I did put the factory windshield on it. But that bike works great, shaft driven, all over the country. I pretty much just use it for giant road trips every year because it's pretty comfy, and I think it looks really cool too. It also has this gigantic front wheel. It's 21 inch. I love seeing that thing just floating out in front of you. The other things in the garage are pretty much just the drift track right now. I also have a Honda Twin Star CM 185. I kind of forgot what year it is. I think it is an 85. That's at my dad's shop. I have a Kawasaki 305 street bike, also at my dad's shop. It's one of my brother's old bikes, and he can't find the title for it, even though I bought it like 4 years ago, and I just need him to find the title so I can go get rid of the bike. But that's just sitting. It's probably time to rebuild the carbs on that. The 185 just had a carb rebuild, and I think it's been so long since then. They're probably clogged up again. Ethanol, you guys know how it is. And the gas tank has been full of corrosion for a long time on that, and I didn't want to fill it with cream. I wanted to fix it correctly, so I did like fill it with BBs and put it in the dryer, cover it up with blankets and stuff, and let it tumble for hours and hours. And I thought we had all the rust out of it, but rust kind of seems to keep coming out of the tank, so I kind of just want to buy a new tank for that bike and rebuild the carbs again and be back on the road. That's the 185 story. The 305 will need a carb rebuild again. I just rebuilt the carbs in it. It seemed to be working pretty well, but one side of the exhaust started bluing after I rode it up and down the street on a quick test, so we shut it off, and it's time to rebuild that side of the carbs again. As you can tell, I'm done with carburetors in my life. The only thing left in this garage with a carburetor is the Ruckus, and honestly, I don't need anything else with a carburetor ever again. I guess the Helix does too, but it's got to stop. And the last bike, number 11, is a crazy old Suzuki. You'll have to wait to see. That one's coming up in a future project. It's old school, it's fast. I can't wait to ride that one. As you can see, owning 11 bikes is quite the headache, but it's also pretty fun. You get to choose what style of bike you want to ride every day. You want to ride a chopper, you want to go fast, you want to do wheelies, you want to, okay, this one does all of those things together. They're comfortable, wheelies, fast. I just love the Hypermotard. But yeah, it's nice having a little bit of choice and also having something for all your friends to ride. So that is it for today, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I just heard sirens for like 5 minutes straight, so I'm gonna head the direction I heard them in. It's like raining outside. Oh, it's kind of like a mist that's spraying into my eyes. I'm on the one wheel. There's a fire truck, so we can't be too far away. Also, streets covered in people. Let's go figure out. Bomb through this bank right here. Well, maybe nothing's going on. The only thing I see is this one fire truck just chilling on the road. If there was a wreck here, they cleaned it up in like 4 minutes, because it did not take me that long to get shoes on and roll down the road. Must have been something going on inside the computer store, because the firemen are all going inside, and the other fire truck's headed the other way now. So here's the other fire truck. Ooh. That's a C63 AMG right there. I saw it roll past and I was like,